Buenos dias, this is Scott Oliver with WeLoveCostaRica.com. Welcome. I'm here today with Costa Rica Realtor Dennis Easters, who has significant experience not only in selling real estate but also in restoring historic buildings. Originally from Tampa, Florida, he's restored about 25 historic buildings over a 15-year period before he even came to Costa Rica. Dennis, welcome.
Good to see you again, Scott.
Good to see you. Now, you've been here for 8 years, Dennis. You're focusing on both real estate as well as construction. Is that correct?
That's correct, Scott.
And where are you located?
We're located in Atenas, Costa Rica, which is about 30 minutes west of the capital, San Jose. And we do full-service real estate, sales, rentals, and things of that nature, but we also do construction, project management, etc.
Okay, and why Atenas?
Why Atenas? You know, of all the destinations we had explored in Costa Rica, it just felt like home. We always came back to Atenas.
And if I'm not mistaken, Atenas was the place that was mentioned in the AARP report last year, wasn't it?
That's correct. Last year we were lucky enough to have AARP name us as one of the top 10 destinations for retirees.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a really interesting thing for us, and a good thing.
Sure. But it's not just retired people that are buying real estate in Atenas, or is it?
No, we have everything, Scott. We have a lot of people moving in their mid-30s now, a lot of people in their 40s as well, and a lot of pre-retirees, people who are thinking about retiring in the next 5 or 6 years. So they're already coming down, exploring their options, in some cases making purchases, and using those as vacation rentals or vacation homes until they actually retire.
Okay, now Atenas is a little bit unique as far as I can see in that we don't have oceans of condominiums and apartments, is that right?
That's correct, Scott. You know, Atenas is more pockets of developments, and when I say developments, I mean residential homes in developments that consist of 25 to up to 125 homes. A lot of these tend to be gated communities with 24-hour security, but we also have limits on how large you can build in Atenas. And what I mean with that is 3 stories is the max. So we will never have huge high-rises in Atenas.
That's a legal stipulation.
That's a legal stipulation, and they're really trying to do their best to conserve the surroundings and the nature that exist in Atenas.
Okay, so when people are looking at investing, for example, in Costa Rica real estate, you mentioned 30, 40-year-olds who, some of whom obviously have not retired yet. I mean, in your opinion, Atenas is a good investment real estate market?
I think Atenas is an excellent investment opportunity because we are not your typical tourist destination. So our tourism exists within the retirement community. So we have a lot of snowboards who come from the Northeast. They come from Canada for the winter months.
Without their snowboards.
Without their snowboards, exactly, with their bathing suits. And the other option that has been really paying off in the past 5 or 6 years is Atenas is within an hour to an hour and a half of most tourist destinations within the Central Valley. So it's a great place to bunk at night and then do all your day trips during the day. So a very popular place to rent a house for a week or 2 weeks while you explore the Central Valley.
Okay. And if you're only, what, 45 minutes from the nearest beaches, correct, on the Pacific coast?
We can be to Punta Leona in 45 minutes. You can be to Caldera in about 35 minutes, Jaco in an hour. So you have many, many beaches less than an hour away from Atenas.
Let's talk about actual real estate prices. Obviously would date our discussion here, but I mean, would you say that Atenas real estate prices for finished product as well as land is comparable to other areas, or is it more expensive?
In general, prices in Atenas are slightly more expensive than some of the other neighboring towns. For example, Grecia is about 30% cheaper than Atenas is. Naranjo, San Ramon. But that is all due to location, Scott. I mean, that's the most important thing you can buy in real estate. Before you fall in love with the house, you really should fall in love with the location because it's worth its weight in gold.
Talk to me about the marketplace in years gone by, how real estate values have changed. I mean, obviously a lot of your clients are from up north, from North America, from the US, from Canada. In the past 5 years, how have real estate prices changed, and where do you see real estate prices going in the future?
In Atenas, our real estate prices have virtually stayed the same. In some instances, they've increased. We haven't seen a decrease in prices in Atenas with all the economic downturn in the world. And the interesting part of that is we have a fairly strong local market as well. With the new San Jose Caldera Highway, that opened up a market for locals who are professionals working in San Jose, who before only had the option of living in Santana or Escazú, Ciudad Colón. But now, 20 minutes away, they can live in the countryside and commute to work every day. So that has really stabilized our market.
Sure. Supply and demand.
Supply and demand, that's easy.
And when it comes to the carrying costs of owning real estate, for people that are watching this video who aren't familiar with our property taxes, can you give people an example of owning a home, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Atenas, what sort of property taxes they might be expected to pay, and do they need air conditioning, and just...
Sure. Property taxes in Costa Rica in general are very inexpensive compared to North American or European standards. So an average 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on an acre of land in a gated community would typically run you $200 to $300 a year for property taxes. Your homeowner's insurance would typically run you about $600 to $700 per year, depending on the coverage you have. Maintaining your house, you know, it's always nice to give an allowance for general maintenance, but you can factor in something as low as $150 a month for general maintenance. It's very cost effective.
And when you say that, you're talking about hiring somebody to do the garden, or?
Hiring someone to do the garden, hiring someone to sand and revarnish the woodwork, touch-up painting, things, just general maintenance and upkeep that a house would need.
Okay, so if we look at the big picture here as far as real estate is concerned, the location is superb.
Correct.
AARP is obviously ranked very high as one of the best places to retire abroad. To own real estate, the carrying costs are very limited, and Atenas happens to have an incredible climate too. Would that...
I think that pretty much sums it up, but I think one of the most important things that we're missing here is the sense of community we have in Atenas.
Yep.
The locals are phenomenal. They will open their arms and welcome you with a smile, and this is also something you can't buy. This is something that's really important. This is something we found in Atenas.
But you have a fairly mixed community there, not just Ticos and Gringos, but North American, but Canadians as well as Europeans, yeah?
Our expat community swells to about 3,000 during the winter months, so from December to May. And then we have about 1,200 expats who live there permanently. And that's a mix of North Americans, Canada, people from the US, people from Europe.
Okay, so if somebody is dreaming of living and retiring in Costa Rica, you, I'm assuming, believe that one of their must-stops would be to visit you in Atenas, Costa Rica before going to the beach, etc., etc.
I think you would be doing yourself a major disservice if you didn't check out Atenas. I think you will be pleasantly surprised, and you will be impressed with the feeling of the nature, the countryside we have, but how close we are to everything.
Excellent. Good. Well, I'd like to thank Dennis Easters very much indeed for being with us today, giving us a rundown on real estate in the Atenas area. And for any of you that have a desire for more information about properties or even building your own home, buying or renting, please don't hesitate to contact Dennis.
Thanks so much, Scott. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you.